Okay, welcome everyone. In this deep dive, we're exploring source material insights, and today we're tackling a really powerful piece, chapter 24 of the book of Job.
That's right. And it dives straight into, well, a question that feels timeless, doesn't it? Why do the wicked often seem to prosper while, the vulnerable suffer so much?
It's a huge challenge Job throws down right away.
Yeah,
He starts off asking, basically, why God doesn't seem to schedule clear times for justice, why people looking for righteousness seem to come up empty.
and he doesn't leave it abstract. He immediately gives these very specific, almost brutal examples of injustice, real-world stuff he's seeing.
Things like moving boundary stones, I mean, that's fundamentally stealing someone's land, their livelihood.
Exactly. Or seizing an orphan's-only donkey, or taking a widow's ox as a pledge for a debt. It's targeting the absolute weakest.
People with no recourse, really.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And he shows the knock-on effect. The poor get shoved aside, literally forced into hiding.
Yeah, he compares them to wild junkies in the desert, just desperately foraging in the wasteland to feed their kids. It's
Yeah.
stark.
They're working fields they aren't theirs but still go hungry. They're pressing grapes and olives but remain thirsty. The irony is just painful.
And the picture gets even bleaker, doesn't it? He
Oh, right.
mentions them working naked in the cold because they have no clothes.
Right, soaked by mountain rains, having to, huddle against rocks just for shelter.
And then there's that horrific detail snatching a baby, an infant, because of a debt. It's hard to even fathom.
It really strips away any shred of dignity or basic security.
So after listing all this suffering, Job makes this observation that, for me, is just pivotal. He hears the groans, the cries from the city, and then says point blank, God charges no one with wrongdoing.
That line is so important. It's Job saying, look, this is what I see. God doesn't seem to be stepping in.
It's his raw perception clashing with what he maybe expects.
Exactly. It's that tension between the reality he observes and the theological framework of a just God. He's grappling right there on the page.
And what's interesting is right after noting this seeming inaction, he turns his focus to the perpetrators.
Yeah, the ones causing the suffering. He calls them people who rebel against the light.
They deliberately choose darkness, don't they?
Absolutely. Their whole operation relies on it. The murderer waiting for twilight, the thief under cloak of night, the adulterer hiding his face.
They break into houses in the dark, then seal themselves up by day. It's like darkness is their comfort zone.
Yeah, he says they're friends with the terrors of deep darkness. A life lived completely backward, avoiding any kind of light or accountability.
So if Job sees God as, let's say, not intervening immediately, what does he think actually happens to these people? It's not quite a bolt from the blue, is it?
No, it's described differently. It's often swift, but also kind of almost mundane in its finality. He says they're like foam on the water, just gone.
Snatched away by the grave like snow melting under the summer heat.
Right. And the emphasis is on their complete erasure. The womb forgets them. The worm feasts on them. No memory left.
Broken like a dead tree. He suggests maybe they feel secure for a bit, maybe they even rise high for a moment.
But then poof, they're gone, cut off like heads of grain. Their power, their impact, totally fleeting, ultimately meaningless, according to Job here.
So quite a journey in this chapter. We've seen Job lay out these specific brutal injustices against the poor, land theft, debt slavery, starvation, exposure.
And then that really difficult observation about God seemingly not holding anyone immediately accountable for these horrific acts.
We also got that portrait of the wicked deliberately operating in darkness, shunning the light.
And finally, this picture of their end. Not always traumatic judgment, but a swift, total vanishing act.
Yeah.
Forgotten.
Yeah, utterly erased. And Job ends the chapter with this bold challenge, basically saying, look, this is how it seems to me. If I'm wrong, prove it.
It's quite the mic drop moment.
It really is. So here's the provocative thought to leave you with from this deep dive into Job 24. If Job's perspective, this idea that wickedness can flourish for a time, that divine justice isn't always obvious or immediate, and that the end for the wicked is often this swift erasure, if that isn't how things really are, or how they ultimately resolve, what does that imply about our own understanding of justice, consequence, and maybe even the nature of reality itself?